What's up, everybody? Eddie Barco here from the Nebula Music Podcast, where I interview today's most inspiring and influential musicians, as well as entrepreneurs from the music industry. I'm on a mission, guys, to talk with today's most inspiring musicians that are using social media and other creative means to push their career forward. And I'm hoping that this creates a platform that inspires you to do the same. Today, I'm speaking with Kristina Schiano. If you've ever seen a drum cover on YouTube, you have definitely come across one of her videos. She's an amazing person, an amazing musician, easy to talk to, and absolutely inspiring. I can't wait for you guys to check out her story. Now, before we begin, I have to give you guys a quick disclaimer. The audio on this episode is not that great. I was tempted to let this and other episodes go, but honestly, the content is too great to let it go to waste. Well then, now that I got that out of my system, let's dive right in. I have a very special guest here today. I have Kristina, the one and only Kristina Schiano. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
You're laughing at that intro, but I'm very excited to actually have you here because, I mean, for you guys who don't know, okay, if you've been living under a rock in the drumming community, Kristina has been making quite a splash the past couple years. I mean, I started following you when you had maybe like 5,000, 4,000 followers on YouTube, and I remember just emailing you saying, hey, I think you're great, and then you just kind of blew up. You know, you have so many followers now. You've been viewed like 4 million times. I mean, this girl is doing something really good, and I just can't believe you're here. So, I mean, there's so many questions I want to ask, but before I do any of that, I'm just going to let you do some talking. So, yeah, tell us how you are. Tell us if there's just catch us up. What are you up to?
Well, first, thanks for having me on this podcast. I'm actually very excited. This is my first podcast, actually.
Wow.
I've done interviews, never a podcast, so this is exciting. But yeah, so like I was mentioning before a little bit, NAMM is coming up, so I'm planning on meeting up with some new companies. You never know what kind of deals are going to come out of that. Meeting up with the actual companies I work with, like SJC, TRX, all of those people. I'm going to get to see you, right?
Awesome. That's the best part, right? It's the best part.
Go to Disneyland.
I know. Hey, don't tell anybody else, though. Hey, you guys did not hear from here. We are not going to Disneyland. That is not happening.
We're never going on, Saturday, maybe.
Never. Don't meet us there.
Yeah, but everything has been rolling. Right now I'm on winter break from school, so that's why I'm pushing out with all my weird videos. Like I just shot an outdoor video, which is a horrible idea, by the way, because I'm in New York, and it's freezing over here, so it's not recommended to shoot a video in the middle of winter, but, it worked out.
God, what kind of video was it?
It was a medley of the Chainsmokers. So I put together a whole bunch of their songs, took my drum set outside by the beach, and recorded, and it was super windy, and honestly, it was painfully cold, so never doing that again.
Oh, my God. You know what? Okay, so if you guys, kind of going back a little bit, if you guys haven't seen her YouTube page, make sure you check her out. It's Kristina Drums, right? And you have so many creative ideas. I mean, I just want to explore that for a little bit. For example, playing drums outside. That's one thing that, I think a lot of people think about, but you actually went ahead and did it in New York. Yeah. Mind you, when it's snowing and cold. What gave you that idea? I just want to play outside for the Chainsmokers in the snow. How did you come up with that?
You know what? I've done a few covers outside, and it's just a change of pace because I don't play live, like in front of a crowd. So I'm usually just stuck in my little studio playing by myself. So, going outside, and just, it's a whole different experience, and especially with drums because it takes so much work. You're not just carrying one little guitar. You're bringing a whole entire drum set, and all the gear. So honestly, it's just the thrill of it. It's a lot of hard work, and that's what makes me interested in doing it because it's just different. I like switching it up once in a while.
Dude, that's awesome. What we're trying to do here, at least with this podcast, is we're really talking about social media marketing for musicians, people that are really into, or at least trying to get into the whole posting on Instagram, on YouTube, that whole game. And Kristina has just been owning it, which is why I'm really excited for her to be here. And I just want to ask you a couple quick questions about it more further in terms of like your process. So you have a pretty intricate setup, I would say. You have your kit, you have multiple angles. Can you walk us through the whole process of filming it and then posting it online? Like, how long does it take? What do you use? Just give us a brief little summary of how that works.
All right, I'll give you like my filming day, my schedule. So usually I'll wake up at like 8 or 9 in the morning. I like starting off early. Right away I go up to my studio, which is in my house. And
convenient. That's very convenient.
Very convenient. It's in my old bedroom. I go right upstairs.
Nice.
And then I use 4 cameras, so I set those up right away, check out what kind of angles I'm working with, making sure there's, it's all charged. And then I start practicing the song on my practice pad kit for a little bit. Once it hits, about 11 o'clock, I figured all my neighbors are awake. I could actually play the drums. I'm not going to get yelled at. So then I go on my actual kit, practice, and then I have all my mics set up already. That just stays on my kit. I don't touch them unless I'm going outside to play. So then I just start recording, and I do everything myself except for my audio. I outsource that. I have a partner. He's out in Florida, actually. He's not even here.
Wow.
I email him all my tracks. He mixes it, and then I sit here and upload the footage, sync it up with the audio, work all the camera angles, and it just takes a lot of practice to get into that. And because you got to do color correction and make sure your lighting's right, and the lighting took me a long time to figure out. I'm slowly getting the hang of it.
How did you figure it out? Just testing out different angles?
Just practicing. Like I'll post a video. If I don't like how it looks, the next video I'll try something different, and I just keep switching it up. So hopefully soon I'll get like the perfect angle for my lights.
How many lights do you use?
I have 2 lights.
2 lights? You put them in the front, basically pointing at you?
See, I had them facing me directly, and then it just made me look like a ghost in the video. So I learned what I've been doing now is I pretty much just aim them at my ceiling, and it just gives off a reflection onto my kit. So right now that's what I've been doing, and it's working somewhat. So who knows what else I'll come up with.
And then for your editing, I remember a while back you were asking for opinions on what you wanted to use, whether it was Final Cut or Adobe Premiere. What did you end up choosing? What did you choose?
Final Cut.
Final Cut.
You see, because it was similar to iMovie, and I knew how to use iMovie already. I wouldn't say I regret the decision to get Final Cut, but it is very glitchy. And recently I've been having a lot of problems with physically uploading it into YouTube. It just won't work.
Really?
So it takes a few hours now to like actually, I guess, unglitch, whatever the word is, to actually work. So I kind of wish I went with Adobe, but who knows? Maybe eventually I'll make the switch.
I personally use Adobe. I've used both Final Cut and Adobe Premiere. I personally think they're different because they look slightly different. One's more Mac heavy, one's very PC heavy. Depends on what you like. I've never had a problem with Premiere, but I've never had a problem with Final Cut either. I guess it just depends. But I guess what I want to know specifically is how was the transition from iMovie to Final Cut? Because I would say iMovie is the equivalent of Windows Movie Maker, where it's like the default program that comes inside, just drags stuff in, and then there you go. But Final Cut's a little more complicated. It lets you do more stuff. How was the transition?
It wasn't too bad because I'd like to think I'm kind of like computer savvy.
You like to think?
I'd like to think, yeah. But yeah, Final Cut just had a lot more features, and honestly, it just made my editing process a lot quicker. So I was like all for the change. I didn't mind having a little bit difference of like an interface, because when you're syncing up video, what a lot of people actually do, there's like an auto sync button, something like that on Final Cut. I don't like using that because it just puts everything on one straight line.
Yeah.
I like stacking up each camera angle and just manually, cutting it.
Old-fashioned way.
Yeah, I like doing it the old-fashioned way. So on iMovie, you couldn't really do that. I think you could only do like 2 stacks, but now there's like an unlimited, So it's not too hard. I watched a lot of YouTube tutorials on Final Cut to figure out certain things. I still do that like once in a while if I don't know how to do something. So honestly, YouTube tutorials are the best. You can learn anything.
What about the color correction? How long did that take?
I'm still working on it.
Color correction is one of those things that a lot of the film guys that I work with, they always talk about how it's never the same thing.
Yeah, you can't just go to, 2% change or, it all depends on everything. And I'm noticing new features like there's like waveforms that they show. I don't know how to do that with the color. Yeah, there's waveforms.
That's complicated stuff right there.
I don't go near that stuff. Yeah.
If someone wanted to learn Final Cut, let's say today, do you think they'd have sufficient knowledge to post a decent video maybe within a month, half a month?
Way quicker than that. It's really, I think even if I didn't start with iMovie, I think I would have figured out Final Cut maybe in a few days. Because it's pretty much trial and error. And if you hover your mouse over the buttons, it says what it is. If you want to do a certain thing, just, Google it, how to, make a cut or do something like that. So I don't think it would take that long. Obviously, if you want to do, professional, like, color correction and all this, that takes some time. But, just for something that, like, I'm doing, just drum covers, I don't think it would take a person that long. So I highly encourage people to go for it. Don't be scared.
Do you remember the first video you posted, like, way back when?
I do.
Okay, let me ask you, what was the motivation behind that? Like, what made you want to post yourself playing drums to a song or just playing drums in general?
Well, I started YouTube 7 years ago, so it was a long time.
God. 2009 or 2010? Yeah,
it was a long time ago. And from what I remember, I did it because I have family that lives overseas, so I wanted them just to see what I do. I wasn't expecting people to actually watch, and no one watched my first video anyway. Like, no one was watching that. But that was the motivation behind posting my first video. And then eventually I just made the switch to, like, okay, this is what I actually want to do. So let me get more serious and, make videos actually look nice. But yeah, that was Ocean Avenue by Yellowcard was my first video.
Oh, wow.
Which I actually just recreated the cover because I just posted my 200th video. So I redid that cover.
Congratulations. I did see that video. It was a really good cover, by the way.
Thank you.
And fantastic song. Well, how many videos, or at least how long did it take for you to realize, like, hey, I really want to do this? I think there's something here.
It took me a while. Well, okay, so I've been posting for 7 years. I'd say just the past 2 years I took it seriously. So a whole 5 years, I was just like, I'd post a video here and there. I didn't really care. But after my first NAMM, which was 2 years ago, that's when I took it seriously.
Really? Did people recognize you the first NAMM?
I got recognized, I think, like, by 3 people, and I thought it was the strangest thing.
I think I recognized you, actually. The first time you went, I think I might have said hi to you.
I think last year I saw you. Yeah, last year. So two years ago, I had maybe, 5,000 or 7,000 subscribers. So I'm like, no one's going to know who I am. But then I got stopped, and I'm just like, this is strange. It's a weird feeling.
And what made you want to go to NAMM in the first place? You just wanted the experience of being around all that stuff?
Well, my dad goes every year because he has a music store.
Oh,
so
nice.
he was trying to get me to go for the longest time. And then one year I'm like, okay, sure, I'll go. And now I'm hooked. I have to go every single year no matter what. Like, I'm going.
Dude, he must feel crazy. How do your parents feel?
Oh, they're all for it. They think it's really cool. Like, so I'll walk around the convention with my dad a little bit. And last year, because I went by it was just me and him and his friend. So I didn't have anyone. So I walked around with him a little bit, and more people were stopping to take my picture and all this. And he's just standing there like, what is happening right now? Because that doesn't happen here, like, when I'm home. So they think it's all just really, really cool.
Just the neighbors, stop drumming.
Much.
But NAMM is a completely different thing. Dude, that's so cool. And again, I'm really, really happy for you. Let me ask you this. With so much content out and so much responsibility, if you will, how do you get motivated? Like, how do you look around for the covers to do, and what inspires you to get up and start doing these covers?
You see, my motivation, it changes over time. I'd say right now, I'm straying away from covering Billboard top 10 songs, personally, because I just really don't like what's on the radio right now. So
it's okay.
Yeah, but I'm actually getting inspired by people that are watching my videos, because I get so many messages every day, of people just telling me really personal things about themselves, and I'll get a bunch from, like, little girls just saying, hey, like, I didn't know a girl could play the drums. I really wanted to, but I didn't, I thought I'd be, made fun of. But then I saw your video, so now I joined the marching band. Like,
nice.
stuff like that is like, I can't stop what I'm doing. I gotta keep posting, because I'm like, you never know how many people you're gonna touch. So, yeah, honestly, just my fans right now are really, like, my driving force to just make exciting videos, and that's why I keep switching it up, like going outside or doing some random videos. I just want to do it for them at this point.
Let me ask you this: how often do you make videos? Like, how do you record once a week? Do you have a set schedule? How does that work for you?
I used to do it every single week, one video. But then, during the semester, because I'm still in school, it's tough to do that. So I think I do like maybe every other week I'm posting. So it's still like 2 or 3 videos I'm getting out there every month. It's not like a set schedule, but usually I do it on the weekends.
The way you described the whole posting process, it's very time consuming. I mean, I know because I do it myself too, and it can eat up a lot of your time and get a little overwhelming. So how do you manage that? How do you happen to manage your school schedule and your posting schedule?
It's tough. And I mean, it's not even posting videos and that, like, I have to learn the songs, so that takes a long time. So that actually this semester, the past maybe 5 or 6 months, I didn't post that much because I'm a senior right now. So I'm really pushing with the school. So I had like no time to make any videos. But you have to prioritize. Like, there's so many occasions that I'll tell my friends, like, no, I can't come out because I got to learn a song or I got to do some editing. You just got to prioritize and, just think of what actually is important at that moment in time and just do it. So it's not too bad once you set the standards for everything.
It's interesting, your approach, because with so many people that I'm talking to, especially myself, some people have very rigorous schedules, very strict, like, I get up and I have to make sure I practice for like an hour or blah, blah, blah. And I think with yours is a little more in the middle where you have your day that you do it and you kind of just figure out what you have to do and you just go with it. And I think at least the important takeaway from that is everyone's schedule is different. Everyone does things differently, and not to get too obsessed with how other people do it, more so figure out the way that you can do it.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't have like a rigorous practice schedule. Like I don't do any of that. Whenever I happen to have time, that's when I just do whatever. Actually,
on that topic, what drummers or what stuff do you look into that keeps you inspired or that kind of helps you to think about, hey, I want to learn how to do that next? Like, is there any drummer or any books or any of that stuff that you keep up with?
Honestly,
band is also in there too. Any bands you're into?
Ooh. I listen to a lot of bands, but you know what? Honestly, it's other YouTube, like drummers that post on YouTube, because that's like my form of TV. I don't watch TV. So right now, all I do is watch other drummers. So there's like Matt McGuire, Casey Cooper, of course. Matt Jarsta. I don't even know how to say his name. From Animal Flag.
Garsta.
Yeah, Garsta.
Yeah.
Alex Rudinger, Annika Nieles. Like, I just watch all of these people on YouTube, and I'll be like, whatever they did was really cool. I'm going to try to break it down in a slower version, and maybe I could try to do it. But yeah, just watching other people, and not even just like, big famous people, just small time people. I'm subscribed to so many channels that have like, 200 followers. Like, it doesn't matter. They're just really good drummers. So I just like to watch anyone. I always learn from watching rather than just listening. Yeah.
Casey Cooper is actually a really good guy. If you guys haven't ever seen any of his stuff, he is definitely very creative. I think a lot of the modern drumming channels take a lot from what he did. I want to explore a little bit of your Halloween videos. I really love the Halloween stuff you do. Okay, so guys, like I said, if you haven't seen her channel, you'll probably see one on the like popular section. You paint your face. You always do really, really cool mashups for Halloween. How did you come up with that idea to do that?
Well, Halloween is my all-time favorite holiday, and I never really do anything on Halloween because at this point I'm 21 years old, so no one ever really wants to. I would totally still go trick-or-treating. I don't care. But I think it was like 3 years ago I did the first mashup, and I was just like, I don't know, you know what? I feel like painting my face, and you know what? I saw Dylan Taylor. Do you follow him?
Yeah. Okay. Was that the one?
He posted some form of horror medley something for Halloween one year, and that was the first year I got the idea in my head, like, I should do this too.
Was it the one where he did? No, it wasn't Thriller. It was
No, he did a whole medley with like.
You're right. I don't remember what it was, but yes, you're right. And so that got you the idea to do that. Interesting.
That's what put the idea in my head, because he did it like a month before Halloween, so then I had time to figure it out before Halloween. So yeah, he was the one that got me into that idea, and then every year it just stuck. It's my favorite. It's one of my favorite videos that I do, just because I like scaring people with the music.
I feel like a lot of your fans look forward to that specific one because it's like your staple.
Yeah, it's the one video they know is going to come every year.
It's like, if I don't watch anything else, that's the one that I have to make sure I'm on it. Let me just speak a little bit more about your personality, which I think it's something a lot of people need to be aware. Like I mentioned at the beginning, I met Kristina a couple years ago. I just told her I was a fan, and then we've kind of kept in touch with some other projects. And the one thing I really like about you is that you're very personable. And by that I mean you're responsive, you get back right away, and you give really honest answers. And I was actually interviewing someone else who said something similar, where your personality is really what comes off to your fans. Because there's tons of really well-known musicians that are very standoffish or just like, I'm famous, blah, blah, blah. So what I'm getting at is, if you're planning on starting a channel or starting something, it doesn't matter whether you have 100 followers or 100 million followers, your personality comes out. And yours is so, you just like to talk to people. I mean, if this isn't obvious, I mean, I think that's what's helped you a lot, is that when someone asks you a question, you're like, hey, dude, here's the answer, as opposed to trying to figure out, what can they do for me? So anyways, what I'm getting at, in terms of social media, it can be very easy to get lost with the content. I mean, do you agree?
Totally agree. Like, honestly, I'm a very big proponent for answering people's comments. Even if I'm just saying, just thanks to 100 people over and over again, I think that's way more important than just not answering. Because there's so many times that I've commented on some people's videos and I never get a response. And I'm just like, did they even see it? Do they read their comments? Do they care what people think, So I just want people to know, at least when I, respond to them, I want them to know I see you, I appreciate you for watching my videos. And I think that's important for anyone. Like, if you're starting a channel or doing anything with social media, you have to have that contact with the people that are supporting you. You have to. You can't be a ghost.
Absolutely not. And let me ask you this. Was there a time, maybe in the past year or the past 2 years, as you were building your channel, where maybe you felt that things weren't so great, that maybe you felt a little discouraged, like, I'm not sure if this is worth the time? And how did you get through that time?
Honestly, this happened this year, maybe 8 or 6 months ago. It happened pretty recent.
Really?
Yeah, and it was, for a while, I noticed like my views were not as high and my subscribers weren't gaining, as fast as they were. And I looked into it, honestly, because I was concerned. I'm just like, what's happening? I found out that YouTube changed a lot of their formats with how people, and I looked into it, and a lot of people were getting affected, like big channels. So once I realized it wasn't me, I got like my motivation back a little bit, because I'm like, okay, like it wasn't me. But there's always going to be something that's like tearing you down, whether it's like haters or just, a video just goes wrong, or, your computer crashes, which has happened multiple times.
I hate when that happens. It's bad.
But you just have to, eventually you'll get over that little, bump in the road and just get right back into it if it's something that you actually really enjoy.
How do you handle a bad comment? Do you respond back or you just ignore it?
You see, I used to just ignore it, or I would delete it depending on how bad it was. Like, I totally censor my videos. I don't care. I'm very open about that, because I know that I have young kids watching my videos. So if you're reading the comments, I don't want them to see anything, bad. So I just got into the habit of responding really sarcastically to these people. Like, if they say something like so out there, like, actually yesterday I answered a comment. They were just like, you're ugly and you played the song so wrong. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, these two things have nothing to do with each other. So, okay. And I'm like, so I answer. It's comments like these that just make me laugh. So I answered. I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. Like, I really appreciate that. That's so sweet, with a smiley face. So that's what I do now. I just give it right back to them. You can't pay attention to those people. They're just trolls. They're behind a computer screen. They would never say it to your face. So you can't let it affect you.
That's really good advice. I definitely have received my fair share too. I ignored it at first, but you're right. I think what's the word? I don't know what the word is. I mean, it's almost going along the concept of turning the other cheek, but when you're sarcastically nice back, people don't really know what to do, because then they come off as even worse. They're just like, and there's very few people who would continue that. Most people just think, oh, shoot, okay, well then.
On one occasion, the person replied back, because I've been doing this a lot now, and they were just like, oh, I totally didn't realize you were going to read this. And I'm like, I read every comment, thanks. Like,
damn.
Yeah, and then they never commented again.
Don't ever give her a bad comment. Never. It's a horrible mistake, guys. Oh my God. No, seriously, good for you. That's figuring out how to handle criticism, which is something you receive a lot in the music community. And I think it's important to at least talk about it. You know, we can't just ignore the bad things that happen. We got to know how to deal with it. We're going to get really close to wrapping it up, but let me ask you just a couple more things. Mm-hmm. What would you say that this whole social media thing, becoming a little bit of YouTube famous and all that, what has that done for your career in terms of drumming wise? And then maybe share with us, where do you plan on going, if you even have a plan?
Yeah. Well, I guess, yeah, as my channel continued to grow, the biggest thing that I noticed was that companies were interested in like endorsing me, because they know you're going to show off your product and people are going to watch it in your videos. So I got, paired up with awesome companies, and then I started getting into like paid sponsorship videos to promote products and stuff. So I am trying to, you have to make money eventually if you're, trying to make this into a career.
Well, let's help that a little bit. What are your companies that you've got right now? Let's do a little plug.
So I am with SJC Drums,
nice.
TRX Cymbals, Broadham Drum Shoes, which are super comfortable, Drum Tacks, and Headhunters Drumsticks.
I'm endorsed by TRX, and I use Drum Tacks as well. So we're both in the same cymbal family. So yeah, fist bump for that.
Yeah, fist bump.
How do you like SJC? I love their drums. They always look so sick.
It's not, their drums are incredible, and it's not even just them, as people, as a company, they're just so nice. Like, I'll email Mike, the owner, and he'll just answer me within 5 minutes. It's just incredible, the customer service you get. We're honestly one big happy family. So I'm really excited to see them and get to hang out with them in California, because it's gonna be great. But yeah, I'd say my channel growing it just gave me more exposure. I got more jobs because I'm a session drummer. So, some people in New York would find me and they're like, hey, can you record for our album, do something like that. And I actually met a lot of my really close friends through YouTube. So there's always that too. And it opens up a world for you, honestly. So I'm really glad that I stuck with it after all these years.
What inspired me to start, at least, I don't mean to talk about myself. This is really about
Go for it.
I'm just adding on to what you are saying. I remember specifically when I started posting, and it's because, two things really. Number one is on Instagram. I wanted to get featured on Bigfoot, so I started posting a lot of my videos. Oddly enough, that still hasn't happened. I've never gone posted on Bigfoot, but I've gone posted everywhere else. But
it'll happen.
It will happen for sure. But that was my motivation. But for those of you guys who don't know, I actually do a lot of session work in LA. And I remember when I first started trying to get into it, I would go to all these shows and I had my business cards, I had everything nice and ready to go. And I met this really well-known producer. I'm not going to say who he was, but a really respected one. And I had the courage to go up and say, hello, I'm a drummer. Here's my business card. He immediately grabs it, looks at it, turns it over. He's just like, do you have stuff online? And I'm like,
Yep.
I'm like, no, but it's working. And he's just like, then what do I need this for? And he hands it back to me.
Yeah, they want to see something.
They want to see something. And it was super harsh at the moment. And I felt a little sad. But the next day, I took a deep breath. I'm like, he's right. I don't have anything online. Mm-hmm. I just started posting. And I realized now that a lot of the guys out here in LA specifically, there's a big group of old guys that have been around since the 80s. And they get a lot of work. But there's a huge influx of younger guys that are coming up. And they're going to become the next generation of session guys. And I'm lucky to be part of those. And I get a lot of the gigs because of my online profile. When someone wants to see, hey, can this guy play? They don't have to ask someone. They don't have to see my resume. They just go to my Instagram or they go to my YouTube like, oh, he's playing this song, that song. Oh, yeah, he can play. And same with you. If someone wants to see you play, they see your kit, they see your setup, they see how you look, they see everything all in one place.
And it's my whole music resume on my YouTube channel.
Yeah, you don't need a piece of paper. And so I think you would agree with me when I say social media is almost, it's necessary nowadays. Absolutely. It's your resume. It's your resume as a musician. So, and you're doing a fantastic job at that. And I couldn't say that anymore.
Thank you.
So are there any new projects that maybe you want to talk about? Or any secret projects that you've got coming up next year that you're excited about? Or maybe not?
Honestly, it's all up in the air right now because I'm graduating, so I'm starting a whole new chapter in my life just from...
congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Where do you go to school and what do you study?
I am studying marketing. It's very fitting, isn't it?
Interesting. Goes hand in hand.
Yeah, right? That's actually why I chose marketing. I'm like, it could help me, with music too. So yeah, I'm just starting a new chapter in my life. With music, it's all up in the air because I'm not in a band right now. I'm currently not doing any session work. I'm always open for whoever finds me. But yeah, so right now all I'm doing is YouTube. You never know what's going to come out of that. I'm always working on videos, but those are always a surprise. I can't share any of that.
It's okay.
But actually, one of the upcoming videos is very personal to me, and it's not like I'm covering a song or anything, but everyone's gonna really enjoy it because I'm putting some old home footage about something, and that's all I'm giving.
All right. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really cool video. I'm actually very excited for that one.
Dude, we're going to look forward to it. I'm going to make sure that I follow up with you so I know whenever it comes out.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we can see it. Well, you know what? I think that basically wraps up all the questions I had. I think you answered everything perfectly. Is there maybe anything you'd like to, I mean, I think you ended it pretty well, but is there anything else, like a quote or anything you maybe want to leave our listeners with at all?
Actually, I would say for people that are trying to start posting content, I would just say be unique, because, you know, people aren't going to want to watch something that 1,000 other people did the same exact way. So don't be afraid to do something a little different. It might seem weird at first, but it's probably going to come out really cool once it's out. So just don't be afraid to have fun while you're doing whatever you're doing, because people enjoy seeing you smile. For, you know, if you're a drummer, they want to see you sweat and like be really into the song. So yeah, just enjoy what you're doing, be unique, don't be afraid to do something really weird or different, because hey, that's what the internet's about. It's about being weird, honestly.
Absolutely.
So just go for it.
You hit it right on the mark. Be unique, be true to yourself, and have fun with it. A lot of the questions I've been asked is, you know, how do I find my niche, or how do I find that one thing that makes me unique? A good place to start is to find where you have fun. Yeah. Because so many successful people will tell you the only reason why they're successful is because they like what they did. You know, They got hard, like you said, you've had your hard moments, you've had your good moments, you've had bad comments, you've had good comments. I mean, there's a big jumble of stuff. Mm-hmm. But if you like it, if you enjoy it, then no matter what happens, you're going to continue on and you're going to keep moving forward. And I think that's one thing to remember. If you're going to post, if you're going to start, make sure you do the music you like. Make sure you play the instrument you like. Make sure you play at the speed you like. You just do stuff you like and experiment with it.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, hey, thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to see you at NAMM. We're not going to go to Disneyland.
No one ever heard that before. No
one ever heard that. Thank you so much. I'm excited for your career. And before I let you go, if people want to get a hold of you, if they have any questions, is there another specific way that maybe they can ask you about posting or anything that they're interested in?
Yeah, on my official Facebook page, just go to facebook.com/Kristina Schiano drums.
Awesome. Well, Thank you so much for joining us, and have a good night, and we'll talk soon, okay?
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Hope you enjoyed my chat with Kristina. That girl is absolutely amazing. She's on fire, and I can't wait to see how far she takes her career. Make sure to tune in next time where I speak to JC Clifford, the founder and owner of Drum Tax.